Up, crypto geeks, welcome to another crazy video with another crazy update. I know I uploaded a video not that long ago, but another document came out, guys, and you have to be the first to know. I've promised you that from the beginning, and I will maintain my promise. I was about to sit and watch a movie, but you guys deserve to know. So as soon as I seen that document uploaded, I went right on to creating this video for you. So please, please, please click that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. Click that like button if you haven't clicked it yet. Just so I can continue to create this content for you. It helps you to promote the video, helps me out. If you want to be a super supporter, click that join button. It helps me out as well. With that said, let's get right into that document. So basically the SEC just sent a response to Ripple's response to their initial document. And that initial document is that document where SEC brought forth to the court apparently 70 examples of cases similar supposedly to the case with Ripple and that have all lost in their cases. So the SEC is essentially saying, well, if these 70 have lost, Ripple should lose. And this is what they sent to Judge Netburn. Now, Ripple ended up responding to that document sent by the SEC to Judge Netburn, and Ripple showed that none of these examples are actually the exact same as Ripple's case. In fact, they all had initial offerings for their currency before the main company was created. So they would offer the currency after the company is created. Where in Ripple's case, XRP already existed before Ripple was formed. So Ripple responded to that, made it clear that the SEC had no case similar to this, and again, that they had no right to sue them and that they were specifically targeted. Now, SEC just decided to send another response like 5 minutes ago back to the court, and guess what they're saying this time? They are once again repeating points over and over and over and over again. They're telling Judge Netburn that yes, these cases are similar to that with Ripple. And just because Ripple is saying they're not exactly the same, they should have done a summary and realized that based on these cases and based on the Howey test that everybody's made clear does not match our time. It's a test that was done years and years and years ago. But they're using the exact same point and said they should have summarized based on what those cases were and the Howey test that their case, that they are a security. Obviously, again, I don't think any of this is going to pass by Judge Netburn, and the SEC has attempted using other cases as examples in even the most recent discovery hearing. And again, if you listen to that hearing or if you were watching my live stream, Judge Netburn kept telling them every single time they brought up a case, Judge Netburn would say, this is not the exact same thing. And the SEC would do the exact same thing again, bring up the case. And Judge Netburn at the end was quite not happy with the way that the SEC's lawyer kept repeating something that she's negated. And again, they're doing the exact same thing in their response this time. It's a very short one-page response. I don't know if they're giving up and they're not trying to prove much anymore, or using this just as another stall technique to try and push the case further and further by sending response after response. But again, don't worry, this does not negate anything with the settlement. As I've mentioned earlier in almost all of my previous videos, they will fight until the end, and the day you hear of a settlement, you probably would have seen a discovery document sent dissing each other a couple of minutes prior. So none of this really means that they're not discussing. They are going to fight to the last minute. Again, if they have no leveraging power, no negotiating power, then they can't get anything out of each other. So the SEC still wants a relative, or in their mind, a win, which could mean that they want to ticket Ripple, fine them for a couple of million or however much they decide. They're still going to want to make it seem like a win for them, and that they're the ones that gave up the lawsuit on their own. They could have won if they wanted to. That's the image they want to show. But they decided to take a fine from Ripple and settle with that. Now, again, guys, we haven't heard yet of a hearing. I know some people are asking in the comment section, is there a hearing coming up in the next, while? Nothing has been confirmed yet. But again, these hearings, usually you get word of them only a short while before they actually come up, especially now with COVID and them being virtual. But nothing has been brought forward just yet. I do expect one probably in the coming couple of days that we hear of something, just because now there's been 3 responses just in reference to this particular document, which is the one that, again, SEC has brought forward about 70 examples of other cryptocurrency companies that were sued and won. And again, the SEC used this example to even threaten the court system. They said, they sent a document to Judge Nutburn saying, we can't lose, in other words, we can't lose. If we lose, this would impair us from doing our job. So again, this is just, trying to play in between the lines that you have to make us win this case. Otherwise, you're attempting to play around with a government agency, and you're risking us not being able to do our job. It's a pressure technique that the SEC is trying to use. Again, I mentioned this in my previous videos. Judge Nutburn is not a judge that is new to this industry as a whole, and she's not a newbie lawyer by any judge. She's dealt with cases much bigger than the SEC. I told you one of the examples was she's dealt with a case involving Saudi Arabia and the United States in reference to 9/11. So she's not a lawyer that would be threatened, and she's not a lawyer that, the SEC is not her biggest case by any means of the spectrum. So she's not going to be played by the SEC or threatened by the SEC. I think if anything, this might play into her sort of, subjective thought of the SEC. If you're trying to threaten me, what does that tell you about the evidence that they have? It means they have nothing. If you had some evidence and you were confident of your case, you wouldn't need to use other tactics and try to play your government powers. Same thing goes with, the lawsuit that they had or one of the discovery hearings that they had about requesting documents from external agencies using their government powers. Yes, the SEC got that accepted by the court, but what does that tell the judge about the SEC's evidence? That means they really have nothing. If you're having to seek documents from international partners using your government abilities and government powers, what does it tell you about documents? They have nothing. And this is all going to play in how this court plays out in the coming days and how Judge Nutburn sees the SEC. And sees how well they are doing their job, and sees whether they are for real targeting Ripple specifically rather than actually trying to enforce the law. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please, again, if you haven't clicked that like and subscribe button, please do so. It really helps me out. And again, it keeps me on my toes, watching Twitter 24/7 and giving you guys the best content that I can. Thank you for watching the video, and see you in the next one.